Hi fellow sketchers, today I am swatching my entire gouache collection. All the gouache. I've got so much gouache. I've got this guy. This is how we store most of our gouache. It's just this little basket from Daiso. It's a cheapy little basket and it's great because it's got these different sections. So you can store different size paint tubes without them sort of falling down and getting lost and being really annoying. We've also got these are ones that are nearly done. I think a lot of these could be duplicates, so I'll just maybe leave those for the end. And then these big chonkers, look at these. So yeah, I might do these first because these are the primaries. And lots of swatching fun coming up. But you're watching Sketching the World with me, Kat, writer and artist from Melbourne, Australia. But my dream is to sketch the world. So let's get into this. I want to do these in a specific order so that we're starting with blues, yellow, actually, oh that's okay, green, orange, red could probably go along a bit further, and purple. There's probably not that many of them. And then I'll do the colours that don't fit into that range down the bottom here, because one of the reasons I'm doing this swatching is, as I've mentioned before, I'm heading to Tokyo next month, and because gouache is so cheap in Tokyo, like I've mentioned this in other videos, yeah, both the Turner and Holbein acrylic gouache is made in Japan, and it is so cheap. They're so cheap. I'm quite disappointed because I found out that Holbein have a big showroom in Osaka, so I had plans to head there when I was in Japan, and then I found out they're moving and it's going to be shut, and it's the period it's shut is the period that I'm in Osaka where the showroom is, so I'm going to miss out, but that's just an excuse to go back. So we've got this blue. I'm using my water brush because I don't want to have to put the 5 million colours that we've got on a palette. That will just drive me nuts. Now I'm gonna not know the name of this one. This is the one, oh, it's sky blue. Yeah, the tube says white. So we've got two blues. We've got the sky blue, and we've got the cobalt. Let's say cobalt blue in the gouache. And then we'll do the red. I'm not going to swatch the white because it's a bit pointless to swatch the white. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm going to Japan. I want to get some more of the acrylic gouache. Well, I want to know what I need to get restocks of, for starters. And the other thing I want to do is, the reason I'm laying it out like this is so that I can see where I've got colour gaps, like so where I need to think about stocking up on colours, getting some colours, even though I've got so much. With acrylic gouache, I do like using convenience colours. I like using it from the tube because it's really hard to mix. Well, it's not hard to mix, but because you can't reactivate the acrylic gouache, it means that it's just, you either mix up like a big chunk of it and you end up not using half of it, so then you waste it, or you do the opposite and mix up not enough of a colour, and then you get halfway through painting, you need to remix it, but you know, then you've got to match the colour to what you've been using. And So yeah, it gets a bit frustrating. So it's really easiest all around just to use the convenience colours. I know some people are really like, oh, you should never use convenience colours. That's bad, it's wrong. But the thing is, like, people who are making paint, they're experts at paint, right? That's what I think. They're the paint experts. So why should I be arguing with them over how they make colours? I'll just put a T for Turner and a H for Holbein on this. Jet black. I really love this sky blue. It's one of my favourites. Okay, so the white, even though it's a huge tube, I think I want more. That's definitely going to be a restock. But these were like 1,200 yen. That's like 12 Australian dollars. I can't even imagine how much you would have to pay for a tube this size in Australia. You'd probably have to sell your firstborn child or something to get something that big. So now let's go on to the next. Where do I start? I might do these ashy. I know there was one of the ash colours that didn't survive the trip home. It burst. And so I will replace that this trip. I'll put this over here in the red purples. Ash rose. Ash rose. Next one, ice green. I'm not doing these in any particular order, just the order I grabbed them out of the box. Okay, this page is big enough. I do have a tendency to do my swatches too big and then I run out of room. Peacock blue. So these tubes, these are the, I don't know what size these are. I was going to say the tube size, and now I've realised I have no idea. These ones, these big ones, are 100 mil. Heart says there. These ones are 40 mil. Does it have a price on it? No. That is such a great colour. Peacock blue. Got a feeling the blues are going to dominate because there's so many nice blues in the acrylic washes. It's going to be all like blue, blue, blue. Oh, peacock blue, 2 of them. I should make a note of that. This is another one of the ash colours, ash green. Prussian blue. Next lot, permanent orange, yellow. I do like using the acrylic gouache. They're one of my favourite art materials. I probably don't use them as much as I could just because I don't like the cleanup. That's the honest reason why I don't use them. Like, if you're using regular gouache or watercolour, because they reactivate, it's, you know, you can just soak your palette in the sink for a while and it's pretty easy cleanup. With acrylic gouache, you've got to really be careful or it will, like, it sticks to your palette. You've got to give it a good scrub. I mean, if I'm got my wits about me, I usually give it a clean up while the paint hasn't dried. Just, you know, get a bit of paper towel and go like that. But sometimes that doesn't happen. This is J Blue Black, and that is much of a black. Much more of a black than a blue. I think there's no one that's, this one's, yeah, blue black, and the other one's black blue. And they're slightly different. Ooh. Oops, I'll get that later. Okay, on to the next lot. And these are this is one of the Japanese colors, and this is the black blue, which is much bluer than the blue black. Oh, that's really hard to open. Oh, and it's got a bit of dried paint around it. I'll just pop that over there. That is one of my favorites. It's pretty, so pretty. So on to the next one, another blue, as I predicted. Most of these are blue. This is another Japanese color, and this is sky blue, J sky blue. I think the J actually stands for Japanese. So I'm going to start, because I've got so many of these blues, putting them here and going up this row. I really think that I will not be needing any more blues. This is yellow ochre. This is very low. I might have to put a thing, a note that this is low. Okay, now onto this mustard. Ooh, this could probably do with a refill. Restock this mustard as well. It's not that much different to the permanent yellow, to be honest. Then cypress. This is this a Japanese color? It's not, but I think it's a special one. Like, I remember when I was in the shop, it was on sale. It was like 99 cents or something ridiculous. Then this pink, pale pink. This is jet black. No, it's not. It's sepia. That was jet black there. So this is sepia. And I'm trying to do these smaller, but it's not exactly working. I don't know. I just have this standard size that I do swatches. And if I try to do them smaller, it never seems to work. This is pale aqua. That's got a bit of sepia in it. Just do a little bit of this on it, the pure cut. I've still got sepia in my brush. Sepia. Don't want you around no more, buddy. So that is the correct colour, the pale aqua. It does look nice with that bit of sepia mixed in with it though. Now we've got greyish purple, another Japanese colour. This is Turner. It's an interesting colour, that one. Turquoise blue. Is that a duplicate? No. One thing I hate about acrylic gouache paint is that the tubes are so plasticky, and then you grip them tight to take the lid off. I'm always worried it's going to end up squirting paint everywhere. Turquoise blue. Well, a lot of these blues are quite similar. The sort of greeny turquoisey blues, and then the peacock and the blue black. Okay, let's get back to swatching, and we've got olive. Olive. Yellow brown. That's a Japanese colour. Yellow brown. Not much different to the yellow ochre. That one's Holbein, this one's Turner. This one's a bit yellower. But they're very similar. Very similar. When I'm using acrylic gouache, I'm usually not trying to get that accurate a colour match to what I'm sketching. Use them in quite an illustrative way. So if it's, I'm looking more at the palette that I'm using rather than trying to use realistic local colour. What's this one? This one is a Japanese colour, and it's blue-grey. Pretty similar to the blue-black. So now we have the Japanese grey. Oh, there's a bit of difference between this and this, but I still don't see the blue in that blue-grey. That was grey. Just grey. And the last in this lot is burnt sienna. Ooh. Should I put burnt sienna under orange or under these ones down here? It's a hard call. I'll put down the oranges. Burnt sienna. Next, coral red. I've got a feeling I'm not going to like this. This is a colour I really, really dislike. This kind of corally red. Yeah, this doesn't do it for me. Coral red. Probably never ever use it. Maybe my sister uses it. We share all our paints, so maybe she uses it. Primary yellow, I think of, no, that was Turner permanent yellow. I've got a feeling, got a strong suspicion it's going to be very similar to that. But we'll see. Might be a little bit brighter. A little bit. Being more like neon-y, whereas that's not so neon-y. I feel like the light's changing quite rapidly today. Had a weird day. We had the sun coming like in and out from behind the clouds, and it's been really irritating. We've got white floor tiles, and when the sun hits them, even though we've got the blind like pulled down, it can really hit the tiles and glare, and we've been trying to like do some sketching and that, and it is just driving us nuts. Seem to have worse sun glare at the moment than what we did during the summer. We've got construction going on next door, which luckily they've stopped working just as I started filming, so that worked out quite well for me. And I was really worried that once the place went up next door, it would block all our sun. But luckily, also, it doesn't. They seem like they'll be really dark and dingy inside, though, the apartments. They've taken, like there was one house on the block and they've turned it into 2 apartments. It's very close to our fence, so our fence blocks their window. Oh, that was lilac. And I don't know, I wouldn't like to live there. I wouldn't like to live in somewhere so dingy and dark. And I'm a person who doesn't really like the sun much. But yeah, I mean, natural light's good for art. This is yellow-green, yellowish-green, yellow-green, yeah. That's very similar to the greyish-green. Some of these colours, I feel like they are not correctly named. I want to argue with you, Mr. Holbein and Mr. Turner, but don't really agree with your colour naming. Really don't have many shades of red, but then it's not something you use a lot of different shades of. Well, maybe you do. Maybe you are the sort of person who has 50 shades of red. I mean, I love red. It's one of my favourite colours, but I find I don't use... If I'm using it, I usually use red. Or sort of a darker red if I'm doing bricks or something. So next up, better make sure this brush is well and truly clean, because this is a really pale one. This is enamel. I'll put this under yellows. I've got a feeling I really like this. I've got a feeling about it. Yeah, it's quite pale. Very pale. Sort of beigey yellow. Could do with another tube of that, maybe. So now let's go with primary cyan. Another blue. Another blue. And this is the Ayanami. That's a very chalky colour, a very gouache gouache. I always think of gouaches as having that sort of chalky feel to them, and that one is very gouache gouache. Neutral grey. It'd be interesting to see how it compares to the other greys. I mean, most of the greys that I've done have been the Turner ones, and this is the Holbein. So we'll see. It's a lot warmer grey than that, sort of in between the sepia and the grey. Say warmer than any. It's meant to be neutral grey. It's neutral grey 3, but I would say it's quite a warm grey, not a neutral. Oh, lid. Come on, lid. Stop being a pain. Got no time for your nonsense. This is the lime green, pale lime. That is such a nice colour. Such a nice colour. So nice with one of these like bright, not bright, like turquoisey blue with the pale lime, and then maybe mustard, I don't know, and then yeah, one of the reds. It makes such a lovely palette. Opera pink. This opera pink is the most fugitive colour. I remember I did a painting, I was doing a course, and I did a painting using a lot of this opera pink, and when I went to scan the picture in, it wouldn't scan, and I thought I was doing something wrong. So I scanned it again. I scanned it about 3 or 4 times, and it just wasn't scanning. And then I went online and found out that this opera gouache, Holbein acrylic gouache in the opera does not scan. So if you're ever doing anything professionally, or even anything that you just want to have a scan of, remember that. And that's a pity because it's such a good colour, like such a bright pop of colour. So that is dark yellow. I'll put it here with the greens because that is a green. You can't tell me that's a yellow. It's a green. I will fight you on that. I probably wouldn't actually fight, but I would say it very emphatically. That is a green. Now let's get on to this guy. This is a pure red, which I'm assuming is going to be quite like the permanent red in the Turner. This is Holbein. No, it's actually more of a red. I like it. It'll look good as a nail polish colour. It is very pure red. And then this is a Japanese colour in the Turner. Deep pink. I'll put this with the reds, even though it's a pink, because I put the coral with the reds. So it seems only fair to put this. I thought this was going to be a corally colour, but it's actually not. It's sort of like a beige pink. Then opera, as I said, very fugitive. Whoa, run away, I'm a fugitive colour. I mean, look at that. Look how neon. Just makes all the other colours on the page look dull in comparison. Like, that's how bright neon it is. It is pale peach. Pale peach. It's quite orangey. Let's show you the difference between this and the pale pink. It's got a lot more yellow in it. So that's these bigger tubes. I've still got these tiny little guys in here. Let's check through them because I'm pretty sure a lot of these are duplicates. That's the burnt sienna, but that is Holbein. That one I don't have. Okay, maybe these are not all duplicates. Like I suspected, sky blue in the Holbein. That's Turner sky blue. Carbon black. Ultramarine. None of these are duplicates. I was so wrong. None of them. Not one single one of them is a duplicate. Interesting. So we'll start with the scarlet. My wanting to do my swatches smaller never happened, did it? Didn't happen, and luckily I have not run out of paper. That scarlet is so staining I can barely get it out of the water brush. It is maximum staining. I'll just keep with the reds and do this carmine. This is a bit dried up. Hopefully I'll be able to swatch it. No, that's dead. It is dead. I'm not sure if it's a colour we need to replace. I might just put it to the side. Oh, that's nice. That is light green. Might need to replace that because it's very different to the other greens. So much more bright, neon-y. And I know a lot of people like muted colours, but I don't quite like bright colours. I quite like them. Life doesn't just have to be muted and boring. And sometimes, even if you are using muted colours, it's nice to have something that's a pop of bright. Like if you're using, say, well, some of these greys, then maybe, yeah, some of these. And then adding, like, you know, the really bright red or this green. Yeah, the green with the burnt sienna and maybe a few of the more muted blues. Burnt sienna. I was going to test that because this is the Holbein, not the Turner. I can see they're a little bit different. Not enough that I would worry about it. This one's a bit lighter, a bit oranger. But yeah, it's not a huge difference. I'm really not seeing any gaps in the colours that we've got here that I would be too worried about. Maybe brown is the only thing that we're really missing. This is also dried up, this lemon yellow. But I kind of feel that this primary yellow in the Holbein is very similar, so I'm not too fussed about that. It's not something this is also dried out. So, what do you think? I am really not seeing any, well, I was about to write neutral, and I realised that I was spelling it wrong. Neutrals. Yeah, not seeing any gaps at all of colours that I need to buy. There were a few that I've noted that we're low on. I'll put a star next to those so that it shows up more when I look at it. And the white, the Turner white. And yeah, I'd love to know what you think of these colours. Do you use any of the acrylic gouaches? What are your favourite colours in them? I'm just looking at these, seeing all kinds of possibilities for nice little colour palettes. And love that. Peacock blue, sky blue, the mustard, and that pale lime. And then I do love the opera. It's so bright. And the scarlet, I really like. Oh, scarlet, that's low. So, any questions or, you know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit the like button. Otherwise, I'll see you next week with more fun content on sketching the world. Bye for now.